Let's take a look at the build viewer first. So, here you are, the tier 8 Odin. You are secondary spec. Now, you've got a full secondary build with modules at least. So, you're going for the auxiliary armaments modification 1 to prevent your anti-air and secondaries from being destroyed. You can do that. The other option, of course, is main armaments mod 1 if you want to protect your turrets and your torpedoes.
I'm actually thinking of switching that out because that secondary armament doesn't really work.
No. I mean, it helps, but I don't feel like the bread and butter of the ship is your secondaries. So, you know, buffing the torps, at least trying to keep them alive, might be the better play for you. Secondary is fine here. Damage control mod 1 and 2 is fine here, and concealment makes perfect sense. Spotter plane instead of fighter makes sense. And then your skills. Now you've got a full 21-point captain, gun feeder, moving into IFHE for the extra penetration of your secondaries.
It's Lucians. So even though Odin doesn't need it, it's Lucians. And like I said, okay. I play Brandenburg a lot, but it needs IFHE.
Gotcha. Yeah, because I'm looking... where is penetration? 40mm penetration for the 128s. Now that's nice because that means you'll penetrate American battleship deck armor, which is 38. So that works out well. And where is your penetration for the 150s? 47. Be nice if it could hit 50, but whatever. All right, let's move back up. Now you said this is Lutyens. One thing to consider if this is Lutyens... One thing to consider in Tier 1 is preventative maintenance. If you're using Lutyens on a lot of secondary battleships that have torpedoes, this actually is a very sexy consideration. It will reduce the chances of your torpedo launcher taking hits, or becoming incapacitated, by 45%. That's pretty sexy. Combine that with main armaments mod 1 up here, and that, you know, that helps keep your torpedo tubes up. It also reduces chances of engine and rudder being knocked out too, and your turrets.
Yeah, I'm actually trying. Guinea pigging Lucians with ammo feeder on top of the secondary build.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
No, I understand, and you can do that if you want. Sure. If you're switching guns types a lot, shell types a lot, then it makes sense to go gun feeder. If you're not, then consider preventative maintenance. The other thing to do is notice how Grease the Gears, he has a buffed Grease the Gears as well, instead of IFHE. That might be a consideration as well. In order to do that, you might think about dropping maybe fire prevention. I don't know. It's tough because in order to do full secondary like you're doing, it requires a lot of points.
I mean, this isn't even the permanent captain. I just, like I said, I wanted a guinea pig ammo feeder with it.
Yeah, but I mean, everything else makes perfect sense here. This is a very, you know, well-built setup. And then for signals, secondaries, ramming, detonation, and hydro. That's fine. That's all you really need. You could do the fire chance ones to boost your fire making from your secondaries. Especially with IFHE, this would actually be a significant increase. You could boost your heals, you could boost your engines, you can boost your consumables, you can boost your anti-air, so lots of things you could do too.
I try to save like specific flags for specific ships, like the speed boost. I use it on Polo because it's Polo. You want to get in quickly.
Yeah, and if you don't have a lot of signals, then using the ones that have the biggest impact for that particular ship, it makes sense. So you do a little prioritizing. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Now, let's talk about the Odin for a little bit. The Odin is unique in that, well, not so much unique anymore. She was, I believe, the first Tier 8 German battleship to have both hydro and torpedoes equipped. Although, is she still the only Tier 8 that has it?
Zeton. Well,
right, I mean, Tech Tree, right, versus Premium. I'm trying to think.
Oh, Premium? No, there's no other.
So she is still the only. It's been a minute since I've played around at Tier 8 with Premium ships, guys. But in any case, that makes her kind of nice. Now, she does give up a couple of things for having both. One, her guns are lower caliber guns compared to Tirpitz and Bismarck. And the other big thing that she kind of gives up is in terms of, I believe, her hit points. Her hit point pool is relatively low compared to her Bismarck and Tirpitz brethren.
Yes, correct. And Brandenburg to that extent.
Yep. And there you go, Simboto. Perfect. Now, you are bottom tier, because this is a tier 10 game. There are carriers, and there's one sub on each team as well. Congratulations.
Woohoo, bottom tier! Also, Odin has a well-known record of not being able to ram another battleship properly.
Okay. Hey, Seal.
Even with the flag, she tends to lose a lot.
Well, she just doesn't have the hit points to get to the target, and then when she does hit, because her HP pool is so low, even with the ramming flag, you're just not doing as much damage as you would if you were ramming with a Bismarck or a Tirpitz. Good point.
Or does she?
We'll find out. And, oh, by the way, I need to take a moment, and once again, thank you to Chaos Machine for the raid. I'm going to shout him out again. If any of you guys are fans of Carbine Carlito, he raided me yesterday, as well as Rita Gamer. Thanks to both of them. Nice attempt on the Buffalo. Sadly, all your shells said nope.
German dispersion! Woohoo!
Mm-hmm. Now, this is unusual for you. You're actually turning away from the enemy.
Bottom tier? No. And plus the Jinan was not spotted at this time.
I'm just messing with you.
I honestly didn't know where the Jinan was.
No, this is the smart play. I really like it. Being tier 8, you absolutely need to be behind higher tier ships that have much more hit points. I mean, the Yamato is basically twice your hit points. So, get behind him. Get behind the Brindisi. Maybe even get behind the Slava. I don't know. Shout out there in chat, by the way, for Puddin, my awesome moderator. Thank you much for waking up today and hanging out.
Also, too, the sub, up until I saw those torps, was undetected.
Mm-hmm. And also a big shout out for Sith Kitten. She raided me earlier after she finished doing her streaming, so big thanks to Kitten. Also, my awesome moderator. Okay. Now I feel better because I remembered to shout them out this time. Howitzer, yeah, I can send you... This is the link that I was using just now. That's BigO's, but you can then click off of it, I suppose, and look at other things. Back to the battle.
My dispersion is not doing that well this match.
No, and Stevie wants on my lap, but he's been all over me today. What?
He wants your attention.
He does. I was worried about him this morning. Using ASW because you know there's a sub nearby. Now, why the insta DCP there?
Because I don't know if he was like 5 kilometers away from me or at my max detect range.
Okay. I'm waiting to see if Stevie will get closer to me because it's a bit of a reach to get him right now. But that's true. If there's torpedoes that are coming, I mean, the thing is you detect them so far away. You could also put Hydro on if you're that worried, right?
Actually, having an Odin, because I know it was a dockyard ship, but having it and having all the gimmicks that the German battleships have, despite its low HP pool, the fact that it has Hydro pushes it slightly ahead of Brandenburg in that sense.
I would think so too. I would agree with you. I like that there's that she has all of the tools. The biggest thing is managing your hit point pool and ensuring that you just don't get slapped off the board. All right, everybody. There's. Sorry, go ahead.
And yes, at this point I have switched to HE because, like I said, my dispersion has not been friendly to me this match.
Well, frankly, considering that you're bottom tier, there's a lot of battleships that you're not going to do much with your AP anyways. So. Yeah, the sub player is very salty. I saw that too.
Yeah. Needless to say, during this match I blacklisted him.
I mean, that's the smart thing to do. And we've talked before about behavior in chat and stuff like that. So I think it's nice to see that you're kind of maturing there, because the old BigO from what, 2 years ago, a year ago, you'd be fighting back with him right now. So it's really cool to see you just said, "Oh, to hell with you, I'll just blacklist you, move on with my life." And yes, the Odin does well in tier locked situations.
I actually had a match where I was top tier, and the Ryuju would not leave me alone. Guess how many planes I ended up shooting down?
Well, I saw you said something about LOL 90 planes or 50 or something like that.
48.
48. Yeah. Guys, for those of you who are unfamiliar and in part of Chaos's raid, this is Stevie. This is my pet.
Okay,
he's my boy.
Here for a second.
Okay. He's my boy. He's been in my life for 18 3/4 years. His birthday's coming up in April. I've had him since he was literally 2 weeks old, and you'll see him as people follow and sub and gift subs and stuff like that. You'll see parts of his past. I want to share them with you because I don't know how much longer he has in him. Okay, paused the game. You guys all love him, I know, and I'm so glad I can share him with you. What's up with the pause, sir?
So right now, I'm assuming that the lightning is in the B cap where that smoke is dissipating, because our one cruiser is in the B cap, but no one's capping it.
Mm-hmm.
I also know that Delaware is nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you remember when I said Odin has a bad history of not being able to ram properly?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Hold my beer, watch this.
Okay. Now, if you know that the Delaware is nearby and is not spotted, I want to mention too, this is a really good opportunity to put your spotter plane up. To get some intel on the Buffalo, intel on the Delaware, possibly on the Lightning as well. I see that you popped your Hydro. That's smart for coming into a cap like this. With the three of you, you're spotted. You know there's going to be torps coming.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Delaware spotted.
I knew as soon as I popped it, the Delaware was going to shoot it down. Because, again, American battleship, it has grade AA.
Mm-hmm. And yes, what the submarine did by posting position of BigO is definitely against the TOS. So don't do that. Oh, Brindisi, I love this team play.
Again, we're trying to guess where the lightning is, because he's still like that until the Brindisi shot. And then that happens.
Yep. This is the hardest thing about playing a smoke ship, is giving up that concealment. Now, I'm surprised you went this way instead of going the other way to get around him. Also, you know he fired, so you could absolutely turn and get your torps on target.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
And I know he has a very, very long reload. See?
Very nice. Very nice. You have the ramming flag on, he does not. That's really what it comes down to. I love it. Stevie likes it too. And Buffalo, now is the time you're going to get good RNG when he's so low. Pitadel?
No Pitadel. Just
no Pitadel. Oh, you got lucky you didn't get caught there.
No, I'm just lucky the lightning fire torps at me.
Yep. Frez Killer, thank you very much for the follow. Appreciate that. Giving Stevie some bacon. Stevie got some bacon this morning. He was very happy. Speaking of happy, look how happy he is right now. Ooh, carrier! Drop everything you're doing and shoot it now. Believe it or not, my wife does not eat bacon. So she is sad with bacon. So those shells came in a little bit late. You were excited, took the quick shot. Midway is actually pretty fast.
Yeah, I tend to forget that.
Tell her she should have some bacon. She just doesn't eat pork. She's Jewish, but she doesn't like really follow that religion that much. She just grew up in a household that never ate pork. So I told her,
Sorry.
What? Go ahead. No, please.
Yeah, we did leave that flank and kind of abandon Yamato, but nonetheless, he went down swinging and took 2 with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you're up on ships at this point. Never mind, you're tied. But you've got a massive HP advantage. I think the big thing is you need to figure out, like, a carrier player needs to figure out where this lightning is. Good point, Simboto. The submarine is still alive, too.
Yeah, that too, and I don't think it had been spotted.
The last time we had any inkling of where the sub was, it was back when you were where the Puerto Rico is now.
And with our sub out of the picture, you don't have the submarine surveillance, and
yep. I would be looking to see if the Immelmann is detected. If he is detected, he is. That means that their sub is most likely chasing him down. So...
No.
Well, maybe it's the Puerto Rico. Huh, okay. What I was trying to get at that is if you think that the sub is there, it might be worth it to go back and help defend the carrier. As much as I hate saying that.
Now, see, that's what annoys me is I had AP loaded and I got 1 full pen on the lightning, and it did very little damage.
Mm-hmm.
But if you shoot it with HE, it'll take the full damage of the HE shell. So, no, write this down, everyone. When shooting a destroyer, make sure you have HE loaded.
Dutch, yes, absolutely. The carrier has the best ASW in the game. That's true. My thinking is, if Andrew is working with the carrier, that ensures that the sub will be spotted and killed. If the sub's not spotted, then there's no chance of ASW.
Or if he sits a periscope death and pings and doesn't know the range of the CV's ASW,
right,
that'll work against the 2.
And BigO is very good at killing subs with his battleships. That's the third thing. If you're newer to anti-sub warfare, not very good at killing, subs with battleships, then absolutely ignore that. Why haven't you used your heal, by the way? It's available. It's been available.
I think I used it once I entered the cab.
There you go. Alright, now you don't know where the Jinan is. You know his last known. You're asking for spotting. And the Akizuki says, okay, lol. Poor Slava got overzealous trying to kill the Midway. So did your Immelmann, for that matter.
Well, Slava does go down with 2. And Immelmann picks up the CV, so that takes care of that.
Yeah, well, I can kind of see that already.
But with the points being so close, I figured we needed another cap. I'm the closest one, so I'll just... Sorry, Slava, I can't. I'm not going to help you. I'm going to get the cap for us instead.
No, this is very smart. I like this decision. I also like the decision to stop and hold the cap. When you're not spotted, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have my my notebook here. I need to write down. We did incomparable. Who is it? Sleeping Giant?
Sleeping Giant, yeah.
And now we're doing Odin. And this one's on Shatter. Which in the game files is Canada. Figure that one out.
Okay, now Azuma is spotted broadside, and my turrets are not in position, so I'm just waiting for the island to clear.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, German dispersion strikes.
Oh, 2 ricochets. You're, ooh, Akizuki trying to help and he's gonna die for it. Ouch.
Okay, now pause for a second.
So, I just want to mention your AP shells, these are whatever the caliber guns, I don't remember, but they're lower caliber. Thank you. And they lose a lot of penetration at range, so I think get in the habit of HE for most of your shots. Go ahead, what's up?
Against lower tiers? No. Against higher tiers? Yes.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so where I'm positioned, I don't know where the sub is. I know where the Puerto Rico is, and he's probably going to be heading to B.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the Janan is coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I had to think, okay, the sub's going to come out and spot for them, and I'm either going to die to the sub or the Puerto Rico or the Janan.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to take one with me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if the Janan is fairly new or never played against an Odin, but I gambled on him not knowing I have Hydro. And I also had to think, okay, do I try to go for the Puerto Rico, or do I take the ship out with the best AA in the game and let CV pick up the slack on the Puerto Rico? And I will always take one with me. Keep that in mind.
Okay. So, by saying I'm gambling that he doesn't know you have Hydro, what you're saying is you're going to try to get him to fire his deep water torpedoes at you, and then pop your Hydro, detect those, dodge them, and then go for the kill, right?
I wish it had played out like that.
Okay. And Pockington, yes, that's a great way of thinking of it. Play it like you're playing a Scharnhorst, and, you know, just one tier higher. Okay, let's continue the replay. Let's see what happens here.
Again, having a Janan, I know that it has really good AA plus DFAA. And Ilman only has 2 flights. So I had to make a choice.
The sub appears. That's unfortunate. Right when you started moving forward, too. You're on radar now?
Yeah. I didn't know if the radar was on cooldown or not. Apparently it wasn't.
Well, it's always a good idea to assume that it is. AP, and look at that, 2 ricochets.
I tried taking down those turrets.
I saw you were aiming pretty high.
But I'm also willing to bet that he didn't know I had warps.
Now, you also... Whoops.
Blessed you with a death pick.
you blessed us with a death pick, but I want to mention, too, you also never used your last heal. I don't know that it would have mattered here, because you were definitely taking enough torps to die. But, what I think I would have done differently, as soon as you saw that the sub was there, if there was any way that you could abort, I think that would probably have been a good idea.
Well, one other thing to think is the sub was hanging around the Janan. So if I tried to launch ASW, the Janan, between the Janan and the Puerto Rico, they would just shoot the plane down. And
yeah, I mean, you're gonna lose some planes, sure, but in my experience, you know, ASW planes they don't really die that easily, unfortunately.
That's debatable.
All right. So anyway, I'm trying to find a good death pick of you here, because I kind of like oh I like this. This is better. Because I want to highlight the torpedoes that you had on the Janan, and I like the splashy. Do you agree?
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Not only that, it looks like a double death pick because you've got whatever the heck that is in the background there dying too.
Friendly Akizuki.
That is the Akizuki, okay. Unfortunate for Zath, or no, fortunate for me. Yeah, right. All right, let's continue the replay.
Gegnerischer Kreuzer gesunken.
All right. Yeah, there is no winning move, so I mean, at least taking out somebody helps. Unfortunately, like I said, it happened right as you decided to move forward.
Yeah, that 2C. Yeah, I didn't want to lose the AR, but at the same time, I knew I was going to go down trying to defend the cap.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, I will always gladly take one with me. And taking the Janan out gave our CV free reign on the Puerto Rico.
Yep. Okay, so SAT brings up a good point. You could have tried to be in a kiting away position, but unfortunately, you the way you approached the cap, you were kind of stuck bow in.
Mm-hmm. And even if I did reverse, the Janan could just come out, launch 2 racks, pop his reload, launch another 2 racks, and I would have died either way.
Mm-hmm.
Or the sub would have gotten me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, our Iowa is being very, very smart in staying far away from the caps. That's key 1.
Okay. I feel like he was chasing the Azuma and later trying to get the kill on the carrier, but okay.
Which he was, but at this point, he's far enough away where no one's bothering with him because they're all focused on Immelman.
Sure, I agree. I mean, it works out in his favor. So, you're spectating now, and you're watching as the Immelman is going to take out the Puerto Rico with the flood. There he goes. And now there's the lightning and the sub to deal with.
Auto ASW for the win, but the sub never gets it close.
Right.
And I do a little bit of taunting because I know Immelman's little secret.
Mm-hmm. Seal, that's right. Yeah, he did take out a tier 10 for a tier 8.
Oh yeah, that's another good point. I mean, granted it was a cruiser, but still, making that trade with the Janan, I think in my opinion, was worth it.
So I will say I do like the idea there of doing the taunting in chat too. I think that's perfectly fine as long as you're keeping it civil, which you are. I've done that before in ranked. I've gotten people to fight each other, argue with each other on the enemy team, and lose because of that. So. The irony here with this torpedo drop is your Immelman actually could have hurt himself. I don't know why he turned like that into 2 torpedoes, but okay.
Overturn
Hey,
maybe?
nifty.
But it doesn't kill him. Lightning doesn't pack that punch. If it had been Jutlin or Daring, he would have been dead.
Right. 15 seconds to go, and you are up on points. It's unfortunate that the lightning didn't chase after the Immelman, or maybe it's fortunate because Immelman is still flooding right now.
But I think Immelman's secondaries would have gotten him.
I think so too. But why leave it to chance, I suppose, right? All right, let's get the replay render going.
Noted, SAT. Thank you. Wrong render.
Oh, sorry. I was catching up with chat. There it is. All right.
No, Immelman and MVR, for that matter, have the same amount of secondaries on each side. It's 6 per side.
Mm-hmm. I agree with SAT, though. Trying not to backseat. I mean, you know, I'm as much of a, guilty of doing that too. I find that when I do that, I get more invested in the battle, which is kind of nice. But at the same time, most players I find will take it negatively instead of positively.
I mean, I was just trying to tell him to turn because, you know, I main TVs and I know when they're torping and I know when they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So I know when to turn or just get as skinny as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm really glad that you didn't just YOLO in. This is Puddin was talking before about oh, it's another standard game of secondaries in the Odin or in a German battleship for you. So this was a bit of a different experience. I think the big thing you learned from here is to fire HE maybe 75% of the time, and AP maybe a quarter of it.
When bottom tier, yes. When top tier, no, just AP everything. Unless it's a Bowen battleship.
Sure, of course, the tier does matter. I don't feel like you got much mileage out of Gunfeeder in this battle.
Like I said at the start, I was guinea pigging with Lucians to see how it would work. I'm probably just going to respec him back to preventative maintenance.
No,
other battleships, though, like American, maybe French, and Russian lines, yeah, definitely take ammo feeder.
Well, especially if you've got the Americans with a buffed Gunfeeder as well. I mean, that's a huge buff. So I would totally agree with you there. I'm just trying to give you feedback from what I saw in this battle.
No, I know.
Not much else to comment on, really. I'm trying to see what else. There's that Azuma that you take shots at later.
I was trying to help Araki kill the lightning, but he's running away, so I didn't get a broadside shot on him.
Well, it's the right thing to do. Now, you could have gone farther south of that island instead of cutting in behind the island.
Then that would have left RCV open.
Yep.
For lack of a better... Vulnerable. There we go.
Yep. Now, the decision to go behind the island does give you the possibility of going into B stern on, or at least turning into B and then, turning southward. Which might have been a good idea.
With my only my rear turrets facing in and the torps facing in. I didn't think of that during the match. But once I popped my hydro and the Janad stopped, I'm like, you know what? If I'm going down, I'm taking you with me.
I want to point out something else too, and I don't know if you noticed it, but there was a point when you clicked on the minimap. Obviously, you wanted a spot there, and you said you clicked on it, and then you did the requesting support key or whatever. And the Akizuki thought you were asking him for help. He said Wilco, and he came up, and that's when he smoked you and then died, right? Literally for it, unfortunately. You were trying to get spotting from the carrier, so I would, maybe this is a nuance, but I would make sure that you're using the I need intelligence data and then click on that part of the map versus I need support and then click on. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Had you done I need intelligence data, maybe the Akizuki would not have misunderstood what you were asking for.
Yeah, and I probably should have said something in chat. That was my fault.
Right. I mean, I get what you're trying to do, but that's because I do it myself all the time. So, all right, cool. Well, anything else for
the simple flyover would have just told me, okay, he's coming this way.
Well, and that's all you wanted. Absolutely.